Good morning, and thanks for making us a part of your morning. You're listening to Crossing the T's, Tyler Moss and Tyler Baird, and joined now by one we've kind of been holding in reserve, Tyler, to get QB1 in here with us at the right time this season. And we know we've wanted Mac all along, and it seemed like the time after last night. And we're joined now by starting quarterback for Wasatch High School Athletics, Mack Kelson. Mac, thanks for taking a little time this morning, waking up early and coming and getting on the air with us.
Thanks for having me.
We need to get your mic up here closer to your mouth.
Okay.
So
Mac does a lot of things well, but that microphone, he's got, distance a little bit here. He kind of puts that like the defense on the defensive line. Get it as far away as possible.
Stay away from me.
Yeah, Mac, thanks for coming in here. We've got so much that we're excited to talk to you about, but obviously coming off a big win last night, I mean, you got to be feeling great after coming in and knocking off number 7 Spanish Fork.
It feels great. Amazing. I haven't felt anything better, honestly. It's awesome.
So, yeah, it kind of, there's so much we want to get into, but walk us through the team's emotions after the game. What was it like the vibe down there on the field after you got the big victory? 49-42 was the final score. You guys put up points left and right on the board. How was the team feeling? What was the vibe like after the game?
Oh, the emotion was high, man. It was like my face hurt from smiling so much after the game. Yeah, my face hurt. I think everyone would probably say the same thing. So
I love that. I love that comment, Mac. And coming into the game, you might have heard me talking a little bit about this as well. I think a lot of people throughout the state, myself included, were really skeptical because of the first game that you played against Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
And so I do want to talk about this game a little bit with you here before we dive into a few other things, because it was just such an awesome game last night. Coach Coburn called it probably the biggest program victory he's had since he's been here at Wasatch. So how did you get such a different result? You lost by 36 the first time you played Spanish Fork. Offense really struggled to put things together. Yeah. Offense did not struggle last night, right? I mean, you guys look really good. What was the difference? How did you guys turn the tables so quickly on Spanish Fork?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, it's like when we played them like a couple weeks ago, there was like a mentality flipped. Like something changed within our program like in the last like 2 weeks. I think it's when we beat Woods Cross, we were really like, we can do this. Like, I think we can go far into the playoffs. And everyone last night was just in the right mindset. And I think everyone was just doing their assignments and stuff. And so no one was doing their assignments last time we played Spanish Fork. So that's why I think the outcome was different.
And I got to just say, I texted Coach Roberts, the offensive coordinator, and said, hey, we got a Mac on the show right now. And he says, is he smiling? So, I mean, I got face hurting. He knows Mac.
Well, now that you bring up the coaches, Coach Roberts seems like he's the guy that can smile and be pretty excited down there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious your take. So the coaches down there on the field are, from my perspective in the booth, you got some pretty intense, emotional coaches, and we could hear Coach Coburn yesterday pretty clearly through the headset with some displeasure in the game. I'm curious, the coaching staff here, which one is the most intense? Which one is the easiest to talk to? Like, where are you at as far as that? The one you want to stay away from on a mistake, and the one that you'll go to on a mistake?
The one that you want to stay away from on a mistake is definitely Coach Knight. I feel like, yeah. And then the easiest one for me to talk to is like probably Coach Roberts. I think I'm probably the closest with him. And then, but Coburn also, he's the one you don't want to.
Yeah, he seems like he'll let you know when he's displeased with you.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the team responded so well, obviously getting a big victory. You're moving on to the quarterfinals here against Timpview High School. Mm-hmm. But before we get to that, Mac, I want to back up and go over a little bit of history. Our listeners may not know there was a QB battle coming into the camp this year, right? Yeah. You had really a mess with the QBs the year before. AD got hurt. Kazon came in, played quarterback, but then Kazon left and is now going to Timpview High School. Yeah. And so you had you coming up who had played freshman ball last year and threw it all over the yard. You and JoJo just running up and down the field from what I watched in freshman ball. And then you had Crew who also played quarterback. And so that was kind of the discussion, at least I heard, is there was a quarterback battle going on.
Yeah.
And now you two have become the best connection in the state. Kelson to Erickson is a very common thing people see. Yeah. So walk us through the quarterback battle, how you landed at starting quarterback, and how now you and Crew have developed such a good connection here where you guys are scoring touchdowns left and right. Had 2 more last night to Crew.
I don't know. The quarterback battle was like it was happening early on with like spring training and stuff. Like me and Crew both knew that it was either going to be one of us basically, and if I played, he would probably play receiver, and he knew that, and I think he just kind of felt like he liked that idea actually, and I think he just started repping wide receiver more, and then I just started getting more reps at quarterback. So then it kind of just started falling into my hands, and it's just been great ever since that.
Well, great is an understatement. I mean, at one point, Crew was leading the nation in receiving yards. So, I mean, it's got to be awesome having a target out there like Crew to go to.
It's amazing.
When you need a first down, when you need a big play, what's the go-to play for you? Like, if you're the one calling the offense, if you're the one piecing it together, what do you like to go to when you have to have a play?
If it's anything to get a first down, really, I like Gopher. I like his pivot route. He runs that very well, and you probably saw that a lot last night.
Couple times last night, yeah.
And that play is always open, and it makes it super easy with Carter and Tavian and Crew. I mean, they're all so fast. Like, they all pick apart their role like very well. They know what to do and how to get each other open in ways. So they're great. They make it easy.
So you've got a good receiving core around you, but you showed some resiliency last night. I think, if I remember right, was it the first pass got intercepted, and then all you did was come back and throw for 4 touchdowns, put 49 points on the board. I mean, talk a little bit about that. Was there a little bit of a gas moment, like, oh no, like interception, this is kind of going the same way that the first game went, or what was going through your mind, and how did you get calm so quickly?
I just forgot about it. Just honestly, because there's not anything I could have done in that situation. I threw the ball to Carter. I think it tipped off his hands, so we just got to come down with the ball next time for sure. But yeah, no, I just forgot about it and moved on because that's all I can do.
You talk about forgetting and moving on. I'm interested, at the end of the third quarter, we had taken a 35-21 lead. They had tied it up and were ready to score to take the lead. And it just seemed like the sideline was a little bit down.
Yeah.
What happened, or what was the conversation like on the sideline where the whole team was able to do what you just talked about, just forget and move on?
Yeah.
Kind of, what was it, coaches, players? What kind was the conversation that helped you guys just switch the script there in the fourth quarter?
I honestly think it was like player-led, like Caden Luke, some of the bigger, like Chris Cook being vocal and just like leading the team through this hard part of the game, and they just like brought us all together, and then we just balled out.
We needed a big play, and it came from you to JoJo. And you talked about last year how that was the freshman connection was you. It was you and JoJo. It's been you and Crew a lot, but JoJo's just one of those receivers that I feel like is just waiting, just kind of waiting for his time. Walk us through that play in the fourth quarter where we're in need of a big play. Like that was kind of what we needed. You drop back and you connect with JoJo down the sideline.
And it's funny when every time JoJo's one-on-one, Coach Roberts is like, "Don't throw the fade," like. Don't throw the fade,
and you threw the fade last night.
Exactly. I look over to JoJo, and he's giving me his fade or whatever. And so then I'm like, oh, he thinks he could beat him. And he did beat him. It was great. It was a perfect play.
Well,
awesome.
So that was interesting. So you signaled that pre-snap is what happened. So that wasn't the play call necessarily.
Yeah, no.
And
you good thing you completed it, right?
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought that was the play call there. Well, that's big. It's obviously big time already. 2 sophomores already making noise over there between you and JoJo, and that's a lot of fun here. Mac, I kind of want to come back to the Hail Mary halftime play that apparently is just a regular play in the book for you guys. 2 weeks in a row over here. So Crew Erickson, back-to-back weeks, you've hit at the end of the first half. Yeah. And it looked a little bit different on the plays. I'm wondering if you can walk us through it with the QB eyes, where Woods Cross, it was easy to see they didn't have safety help over the top.
Yeah.
And so that had to be kind of pre-snap. You just knew, oh, this is it. Like, we're going after them. Spanish Fork, it looked like they did have a little safety help.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you will walk us through kind of what you're seeing as a quarterback and how you knew that's where you wanted to go with the ball on those Hail Marys.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, right before half, there's, like, 2 places I could really go to the ball, either a fade to JoJo, which he was running, or just the backside post to Crew. Like, I knew it was going to go to one of those guys, or I was going to throw it up to one of them just to see if we can get a score before half. And when we were rolling right, that safety just, like, followed the flow of the movement, like, with the line. Like, everyone was, like, flowing right. So he just was following that, and the Crew just, of course, beats this guy one-on-one. So
you had to be a little bit giddy when you saw that, right? I mean, there's another play that kind of goes in my mind with this last night where you were going the opposite direction of the field as that Hail Mary, and you got a snap that you stumbled on. And you still found a way to get balanced, and you kind of heaved it up to Crew, and he came back and made the catch at the 5. And at least from my perspective, that was looking like almost like you were so excited pre-snap, knowing that you had a matchup you wanted, that you were going to get that ball up no matter what. And it looked like a little bit of a risky throw when you let that thing release and it kind of held up there. But I'm curious if that was the same thing. Like you said, okay, we got one-on-one with Crew. I just trust him to go get it, and you just threw it up and let him run under it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about trust. Like one-on-one, I trust all my guys to go ahead and beat their defender. Like, and Crew's that guy. Honestly, he's gonna beat him. So I trusted him for sure.
Spanish Fork's head coach Dustin Smith is known by you. I mean, he's a guy that kind of runs QB clinics around the state. Worked with Ty Detmer a little bit, and you've gone to some of his clinics. I'm interested. Was there any smashed talk after the game or anything like that between you and Coach Smith?
Not really. I just kind of gave him a hug, and we just kind of laughed, just hugged it out, respectful, honestly. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I've been training with Dustin for like 3 years. I've just gone to 3 years of his camps, and I always go to the one this December, so that'll be fun to talk to.
Yeah, of course.
You're listening to starting quarterback for Wasatch High School's football team, Mack Kelson, coming off a big victory last night over Spanish Fork, getting a 49-42 win, knocking off number 7 Spanish Fork. And Mac, I want to talk to you a little bit about the camps and the recruiting, as you brought up. Whether it's Coach Smith or you have had a pretty prestigious invite, right, to the Elite 11 camp, but you haven't gone and done that yet.
I haven't.
Talk to us a little bit about just the camps you're looking to go to, the recruiting process. What's that like for a high schooler nowadays? I mean, it's very different, it seems, with social media. And what's the goals eventually after high school?
Oh, my goal is I want to go play beyond high school for sure. I don't know if it's gonna be JUCO, D-Wood. I just want to go play anywhere, honestly. And just the recruiting process right now is just try to get good grades and go into school, doing the right things off the field, being a leader. I would say those things, like being very social, being good on social media, stuff like that.
So that last line I want to come back to, but you said something in the beginning too that I feel like is a big deal. That you start with get good grades.
Yeah.
Why is that the first thing that comes out of your mouth?
Just I that's like the first question recruiters will probably ask you, because they could, if you have let's just say a 2.0, they could go anywhere else around the country and probably someone just as good as you who gets a 4.0. So, like, what's going to make you different than the other guy or the other person in the state that you're competing against? Like, you got to have stuff that's going to make you stand out.
So that brings me to the last part of the question that you answered is social media. Be good on social media. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy thing that guys like Tyler and I really didn't have to worry about back when we played. What's the depth to that? Like, what potentially can happen to offers based on what you understand in the recruiting process because of social media activity? Saying stuff that's inappropriate, being a knucklehead. What do you mean on being appropriate on social media?
Yeah, exactly that. Just being inappropriate, just being a knucklehead on just posting dumb things, saying dumb things, commenting dumb things. I think those are all stuff that will probably won't help you.
So you're not going to take a page from Antonio Brown's book or something like that over there?
He actually used to be my favorite player, but now he's Antonio Clown.
Does that mean Antonio Clown? That's nice. Does that mean you're a Steelers fan?
I am a Steelers fan.
Oh, man. All right. Okay, we got a black and gold man all the way through here with this. All right, Mac. Well, I got to ask you, I had an interesting moment in the stands a couple weeks ago, and I just thought this was so funny. Your sister seemed to be giving you the business after one of the games. And I'm curious, who's the hardest on you? Your sister, your dad, who played quarterback at Wasatch, or your coaches? Which one gives you the hardest time?
Oh, definitely my sister. She always has something to say. She knows everything. They should honestly just put her in the pads and put her on the field.
Is that what you tell her?
I tell her. I remember reffing a couple of Powder Puff games, and she would have been fine. She would have been playing
I think she was the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've got to have some interesting conversations in the home with your dad being a starting quarterback at Wasatch. Your sister's husband is Brock Cloward, who is a great quarterback here at Wasatch as well. Do you guys just talk quarterback talk all the time in your house?
All the time. We're going to talk quarterback today, actually. So
Go have a film breakdown with everyone.
Exactly, yeah. We love it.
So your dad was a great quarterback at Wasatch. They were very successful when he was here. Also, probably arguably the best baseball player that's come through Wasatch as well. He played professional baseball as well. And I can't help but notice that you haven't been wearing the baseball uniform. So how does a child of a professional baseball player not end up playing baseball at Wasatch?
Well, we'll not speak too soon. I might PO one of these years, actually. I'm actually really been thinking about it. But I don't know. I played baseball my whole life, all the way until 7th grade, and then I was like, I just want to focus on football. And then I kind of got with Alpha Recruits and my recruiting stuff, and we do a bunch of off-season training. So I just was like, I'm gonna dedicate myself to one sport and see what I can get out of it. But now that it's sophomore year, I'm kind of like, I want to do some more. Maybe I'm gonna run track, and then I think I might PO one of these years. I don't know.
Hey, you got the arm to take a look at it, I'd say.
Yes.
And I notice these quarterbacks always can throw a pretty good hammer on the baseball field as well. I don't know if it's the wrist action or whatever, but they can throw a good breaking pitch. So, hey, that'd be great because we'd like to call a few more of your athletic events if we can over there. So, does your dad give you any advice or nudge towards baseball as well?
Yeah, sometimes he always makes a little comment about playing if you're good to play or something, but he never really forces anything onto me. He just says do what you want and make the best out of it. So,
well, Mac, there's a lot of fun things that we've had. I want to kind of go down memory lane for a minute with you before we wrap this one up. What's been your favorite moment this year? You're starting as a sophomore at quarterback. Not a lot of guys get chances that young to play. And man, you've had some great moments. You've, in fact, taken, I can't remember the exact number, all the snaps but 4, I think, at quarterback. I mean, you've been back there for the majority of the season. What's been the most memorable moment for you this year?
Definitely my first touchdown pass to Crew on a post. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. I would say probably Woods Cross, honestly. Just after that game, there was no better feeling in the world just to know that we were the underdogs. Everyone was if we were going to bet, I would say everyone was probably going to bet against us that game, and we just proved everyone wrong, and it was awesome. That was probably the best moment.
Let's have some fun with you, Mac, before you end here. Halloween around the corner. Your best Halloween costume you've ever had in your life, or your favorite Halloween costume you've ever had?
Probably Chewbacca.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Chewbacca, honestly.
This is a man with some depth, right? A Star Wars fan over here, a Steelers fan.
What about candy? If you had to, pick whatever you want. What's your candy that you'd go to?
Dove chocolate bar.
Dove chocolate.
Wow, that's a sophisticated taste over here as well.
It's amazing.
All right. Well, now let's see how good you are with predictions, Mac. All right, We're going to give you a few games here. I'm curious if we can get your predictions on the games that are happening. Ohio State taking on Penn State. Who do you like in that one?
Who's home?
Penn State.
Penn State is at home.
I'm going to say Penn State.
So that's a pretty
big
bold
upset.
pick,
Yeah.
but Penn State has beat Ohio State 5 times in, I think, the last 10 years,
50
if
years.
I'm remembering right. No,
10 years.
when Ohio State loses, that's to Purdue or Penn State. That's who they lose to over here.
What about Oklahoma State, Kansas State? At Kansas State.
I'm going to say Oklahoma State.
Going back with Oklahoma State. How about baseball? Who do you like in the World Series, the Phillies or the Astros?
The Astros.
You're not offended by the Astros cheating scandal? You're going to stick with the Astros here on that?
Yeah, I like Brady, so and he's about it too. So.
All right, yeah. So I'm with you too. I don't mind the Astros, but the world thinks they're enemy number 1 over there. So.
Yeah.
All right, Mac, thank you so much for taking the time this morning, coming on and talking with us. We're really looking forward to watching you this next week against Timpview, and then, of course, over the next couple of years playing quarterback at Wasatch, and expect some great things from you in the future. We'll be back right after this.